You don't know how happy I am that I was able to get the timing so correctly that the countdown went on, and then we went straight into the intro. I am pumped. Hello, I'm Jaemeel Robinson here with Josh Foster to talk about and recap episode 15, Big Brother Canada 11. Foster, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm it's a new week. With there's was basically nothing given to us other than what the view was for the HOH competition, right? So, it was a good long weekend, Easter weekend, and just enjoyed my time and work back to the grind. How about yourself?
It's okay, work is work. And It's a very interesting episode. A lot of stuff happened. Dave is not with us today. We're Mater Free. They're on our sister channel, Live Long and Podcast, doing a podcast on one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Valiant, which has the Red Squad. Now, I bring that up only because um Dave got a little heated during this episode. He felt so much so that he decided to kind of yell out. I say yell out in typing terms in our group chat that we have for reality TV that we do our the the what's it called in the I can't speak now, where we do the our what can I talk the what can I say? The draft. Sorry, the draft. That's what it is. The draft. And he could not contain his anger about the situation of this episode. So I was, I this was a hot button issue, and we're going to talk about it. Let me just get this screen share set up. All right. So recap. Last week, HOH, Invisible HOH. Santina was the HOH. The nominees were Dennis and Ty. Daniel C, right? He won the invisible veto. He took Ty off. And then Claudia went in Ty's place with Dan heading home. Bye, Dan. That's the back of Dan. So
Yeah, you know what? Goodbye. See you later. You had like no social game. You started the showman's too late with Shania. Like you dropped the ball on a few occasions. Obviously Zach was your biggest downfall, but it's you'll be mostly remembered for being the other Dan that had to be referred to as DJ Dan or Tattoo Dan or other Dan, as we say for the other one as well. But you know what I mean.
yeah, so we're good now. I don't have to differentiate. It's the Dan who's still playing.
Well, once again, I still think that I still don't understand the confusion because this guy's name is Dan, and the other one is Daniel.
Yeah,
That's two different. Like I understand, it's very similar, but it's a pronunciation. It's very different. You can differentiate between the two. I think you can do it, Jaemeel, but it doesn't. It doesn't. But it
honestly,
doesn't. But it doesn't matter. It's too late because he's gone.
I lost my opportunity. Honestly, if I was in the house, I would have been calling him probably Zabo. That would be
Zappo. Well,
Zabo. That's his last name.
he would have been fine with that. He said that he goes by that as his DJ name, and he probably goes by that a lot with his friends, right? So
We probably call him Zabs or something like that. I knew a Zabo. Anyways, he's purple. He's purple Dan at this point because he's gone. So we go straight into the HOH challenge, which we kind of talked about last week. Your opinions. Did your opinions change on this?
yeah, there was a lot of I had a lot of questions. Well, first of all, it was as simple as I feared. It didn't seem like there was just rain, right? There was no rocking, right? Like
No
it just
rocking.
they were just standing there, right? So that was my biggest fear with, because like we obviously saw what was going into it going after last week's episode. But from an audience standpoint, it's not pleasing to watch, right? Like it's not like, I understand like for the competitors and stuff. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is that I would rather this be like a more closer to the end of the line challenge than right now, because it's like a lot of people and they could have done something more of like an actual like I don't know what the I'm trying to think of the term. This term is escaping me. Like a physical activity, like or an active activity.
Well, I'm of the opinion that we haven't had a mental comp in a long time, and there hasn't been one in a while. Um, my feeling is I had no problem with this. The only exception that I had was that they kind of shortchanged one of the competitors during the end, because the advantage that they would have had, they removed that, and then it became just pure strength, and that person was not going to win. So we go through it. I believe the order, I didn't write it down. The order of elimination was uh, the Daniel that's continued to play, or Daniel versus Dan, who's gone.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate the sarcasm, and I
That
appreciate the.
wasn't sarcasm. That was just me
No, it's okay.
talking.
It's okay. It's all good. It's
It,
it's it's fine. It's if you want to call the new guy Dan, it's fine. Or the new regime with the new Dan by himself.
Daniel and Dan. Daniel and Dan. Okay. Then after that, Queen K and Anika come down. That's after Queen K is tempted with Wendy's points, which we still don't know what it does, and it just seems stupid
Well, here's
at
the
this point.
thing, right? It's probably the way that it goes is probably going to be like you have this many odds to be HOH this week, kind of thing, right? Like it's something like that, right? It's just random. It's out of their control. But we'll see. But I'm more interested in the fact that they dropped when they did, right? Because for a lot of reasons. First of all, initial reaction makes sense. Like they're safe. Like there's no reason. Like they've got, like they're not making any waves. Like they really established themselves by taking it slow at the beginning of the game, but also showing like the kind of personality they are, right?
Hmm.
So, which is very a likable person, right? Is what I'm trying to get at. Um, but then as the episode went on, I was like, because the one as the cast, like I think it was Claudia that was saying it, like why would they just drop and all that, right? Like, I guess what raised the question to me was that why would you, first of all, why would you drop so early, right? Because that's more, the earlier you drop than everyone, it kind of makes like a statement, right? Because like Daniel tried, like he really did
That
try.
wasn't
Like,
the competition for Daniel
no,
at
it
all.
wasn't. It wasn't a competition for Daniel, right? So, but they just, and once again, like Anika, like just dropped out right after Kuzi, and it was bad taste. Bad taste.
To me, it makes sense for Kuzi. I don't understand Anika dropping right after her, like at the same time. It's like you're not getting the Wendy's points. So, like, were you tired already? Like, are you that weak? No, you dropped down on purpose because you were done with this competition and you felt you were safe. And it's a bad look. Hope was right. It was a bad look, right? Extremely bad look. I know Jonathan, once again. Jonathan is a bigger, stronger individual, but he's probably the second heaviest person in the in the game, right?
Uh,
Because
who,
decent
who,
tie
who do you
is sorry,
who do you so who do you think Daniel's first,
then Jonathan.
then Jonathan?
Because Jonathan is the I believe he's the tallest and he's the thickest. He's muscular, mind you, but he is a lot heavier than Ty.
Then
They said that Ty
what?
was sorry.
Okay, good. Well, what about Hope's not that big? It doesn't look like. He doesn't
Hope,
look like a
Hope,
very tall guy.
Hope said he was what? He said he was two something. He
Oh,
was 220 or something.
220. Okay, well
Yeah.
that's big. That is big.
Right.
Okay,
Whereas,
well yeah, but Jonathan's also got that dad bod.
but he's like he dad bod, but he's also like a beefy, strong
Oh
dude,
no,
right? Like a
he's a
hardworking
fish.
individual.
He's a fisherman, right? Like
Yeah.
he's an East Coaster, right? Like he's a blue collar guy.
Yeah. Whereas Ty was saying that he's sub 200. He's sub 200.
Yeah,
Ty.
he's very cut. Like he's very lean, right? Like
Yeah.
he's very you can tell, yeah. I can see his body percent like of fat as being low, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. So this wasn't also the competition for Jonathan either. So I understood like he was trying. It was
yeah.
not the competition for Renee either. If I didn't, I should have gotten a picture of it. When you see Renee's confessionals, her arms, right? Heavy bruises, heavy bruises, dark bruises on her arm from her resting, right? She like she is the type of person that bruises pretty easy. We see so far because if you watch throughout the different episodes, especially when you see her and she's like changing, like you see the deep bruises from like falling or hitting something. Um, she's probably begging for a mental comp really bad right now because she looks like she's hurt.
Well,
Um,
that's a good point you made. You brought it up twice now. Like I forgot, I said physical active, right? But I was just saying in replacement of this, right? No, but you're right. A mental comp hasn't really been done either, and that brings up a good point, right? Because at what point do you bring in that kind of high stakes HOH competition?
when Ty when Ty needs the HOH, and it's
Well, exactly, right.
like,
He needed it this week.
well, I'm not HOH, but I mean like a veto something. I think that down the stretch we might see a ton of mental comps, and some of these like Hope is screwed. Like he's not winning a mental comp at all. Jonathan maybe. Jonathan seems pretty bright. Ty doesn't seem like a total dummy, but some of these other individuals in this thing, like I have no doubt Anika could do well, Kuzi could do well, um, Claudia could do well in those mental competitions, and they might clean up. Like it could be scary, like scary on the other side for a lot of these beefier dudes. Right? Like Hope doesn't have a chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Right, like he puts off in a confident wherewithal way kind of thing, right? Like he understands it all, right? But I don't know. We'll see. Like it's the issue is that we're not getting enough variety, right? Like it's kind of
Yeah,
we have like I don't know. I feel like there needs to be like you said more mental comms. I feel like there could be more.
you could spruce it
Not
up with mental and
I
physical.
understand there can't be physical because I understand because of the women and there's only
No,
uh,
there's other ways of doing like
or
there's
they do
other
something equivalent to your body weight or something, right? Like I understand like they've done that they could do that before, right? But or like you know what that one I like is when they put the hands up like this,
Mhm.
right? And they have like a bucket over their head and they tip it you know when their hands fall and the bucket tips over because it pulls it over. Like I've seen it on Survivor. I like one of those, right?
Well, like the um the bank heist one, the bank weight one was kind of a mental competition, which Hope had no chance of winning, and Claudia almost won. She was only like a dozen or so pounds off. She was I think 342, or she was pretty close. She was pretty close to Daniel C. Right, so Claudia has shown that she has some game to her. So Shania goes out.
She's also
I
a lot
already,
small. She's also the smallest one too,
yeah,
right? So that does help a little bit. You're right though. She does put off a competitive edge.
yeah. Shania goes off, and then it's left to Claudia, Hope, and also Ty. And after they hit 5 hours, Big Brother production calls in and says they're gonna switch it up, and you now have to only use one arm to hold your body up, which to me is not fair. Which
I
is not
loved it.
fair at
I
all.
loved it. I was like, get this over with.
Why? Keep it going. Let them wait 10 like we're not watching live feeds. Let it go for 10 hours. If they want to stay up that long, that's up to them. Who wants it the most,
So you're
right?
saying like wait for the conversations to happen and then have those?
Sure, why not?
I guess.
Because
I
what was
guess
gonna
right. Like
Ty knew it himself. Ty said he like okay. Spoiler alert, folks. Ty wins. Okay, Ty wins. Right, but Ty himself said you were gonna win this to Claudia. Right, and the moment that they switched to one arm, you see that Claudia was screwed. Right, she does not have the strength. Right, in one arm to hold up her body weight. She's not doing one arm pull ups. Right, she's not lifting her body weight in one arm.
yeah, no, I think you're right. I think she definitely would have won this if it was if it was two hand. Like I think Ty would have like because that's the thing. Like as soon as Hope dropped, if it was if Claudia held on with two hands, if they didn't change it, and Hope dropped, right? Then she may have just dropped for Ty, right?
Would she
Or
have? I think they
well,
would have had a conversation.
or Ty would have maybe dropped for Claudia. I don't know, but I think that Ty would have kind of made a point in strong arming maybe, but we'll see.
I, I think
I'm not sure.
I think they would have battled it out, and she would have won, and he would have been a little disappointed. But I who knows? Once again, I felt like we were robbed of this situation, unfortunately. So he wins, right? And we get a little
Oh yeah,
aftermath.
Ty's my pick. So there you
Ties your
go.
picture.
My pick's he's safe for the week.
Yes.
Blocked
Um,
blocked to the house.
so you're happy about this victory
In a draft sense, yes.
in a draft sense? Yes. Um, I actually like it from a house drama sense, right? You don't want like Big Brother is great when there's back and forth. If one side of the house steamrolls, it's boring, right? Even in this case, even though Ty technically is not where the power is, he's still technically an antagonist. So it's great to see him kind of in that role because you want to see him get his comeuppance, right? So we'll see. Um, Afterwards, we had a little situation come about regarding garlic bread. So
Oh my god, just so ridiculous. Like
Anika,
I just want to shout so many profanities right now because it's just
okay,
ridiculous.
we're gonna combine both moments together. So in this first instance, Anika's making garlic bread after the challenge, and Santina she offers Santina a piece. Santina takes it, but notices that part of it is undercooked, especially at the bottom, and requests to get one that is fully toasted. So she hands it back. There's some awkwardness, and then she's handed another one, and it's still undercooked. And she makes a comment, and you can kind of see people's facial reactions about it. Like, they're like, "Why are you complaining about the garlic bread? Just take it." Right? Where at this moment, Santina feels that there's no issue. Right? Anika's a little peeved by it. Fast forward, I'm going to go to this one. Is the next day for breakfast, Anika is making pancakes. So a little context to the
Oh,
situation.
waffles.
Waffles. Um, pancake waffles. Um, what happens, and I don't think it's really explained in the episode. is she ran out of pancake mix. So to make sure that there was enough for everyone, she made some from scratch using flour, baking soda, etc., etc. Right? So Santina having some and breaking it apart, noticed that some of it is undercooked, right? And when she tastes one that is cooked, has no taste, right? Anika does not appreciate those comments, and they verbally have a back and forth. Um, it gets escalated, right? Not really a shouting match, but just escalate in terms of the language in general. Um, they vow to never make slash eat breakfast from each other or give to each other. And Santina goes off upstairs, very shaken by the exchange, and cries to Kuzi. Kuzi's reaction as to the whole situation is, "I always miss the fights." um, thoughts, Foster?
Oh my goodness, just so once again, I'm going to use it again. Ridiculous. Like I'm a big believer in not wasting energy on things that don't need to be, especially when you don't have to be part of a situation that makes you look in a bad light. Like she's not aware what she's saying, right? Like I don't. Here's the thing, right? Like you're entitled to your opinions. No one wants to hear them just because you're in a game, right? If they come off as being rude, because even though she kept saying Nika was rude, she was the first one who was rude, right? If you want to call a spade, right? So you gotta just you like she once again the lack of self awareness cannot be more blatantly clear, right? It's very frustrating. I can see because she doesn't have to make any comments. Anika just made an effort to help an entire house of people, right? Like once again, like she's making it about her, right? And I'm sure there are other people that they probably didn't think that the waffles were that great, but they didn't say anything because they're just like, first of all, what's the big deal? And second of all, it's just like just be thankful that I got breakfast made for me, right? If I don't like it, then I'll go make something else. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to, like honestly, like I don't understand. Go ahead, your turn.
Okay. Um, so I understand that people are different, and I believe that I have a good sense of social dynamics. And, when you say something to someone, sometimes they might not necessarily take it the way that you intend, right? And typically, when that miscommunication happens, regardless of if you feel that you were right or you were wrong, you should really do your best to see if you can kind of, uh, close that gap in terms of you know, the differences. Like make sure that there's a bridge that you can cross in terms of communication and friendship. Now, I come from a household, I should say, that is very liberal in terms of criticism, right? So, um, I have often cooked, and it's like, this food has no taste, right? Or did you forget
Yeah,
to
but I
eat
know, but
milk?
that's your family though, right? I don't like once again, like she's
Oh, they don't care. They don't care. But like, what I mean by that is sometimes people get too comfortable, and that's where the differences in how they live, right? And not understanding social dynamics often plays out, right? Santina, I felt way comfortable, like, with Anika with that conversation, right? And did so in a way that hurt Anika's feelings, right? The only reason Santina got as emotional as she did, especially the second time, was because she did not understand, right, why things have progressed to that point, right? Especially when I'm pretty sure she's right. If Daniel C said it, Anika would be fine with it. But Santina being the person that she is and how she is in the house and her relationships with people, she does not have the grace to be able to make a comment like that. And that's where the issues are, right? So I'm not saying that you're wrong because you're not, right? I'm saying that I understand where Santina is coming from. What she has to do is she needs to own up to the situation, right? And make it right with Anika. Because at no point did I say Anika is wrong to feel the way that she did. She's absolutely right to feel that the way that she did because she did that at the kindness of her heart. If Santina really had a problem with her food, right? She could have just as easily, especially knowing how Anika took it, pulled her aside and say, "Hey, I appreciate what you did. Um, next time, if I had a suggestion, I would say next time put the thing in, but everything else was good. I like the texture. Like you talk to people in that way. That's how you communicate. That's how you build bridges and you work through issues. Santina did not do that, or we did not see because we don't have live feeds. But anyways, I went on way too long on this whole thing. I was pontificating for the most part. I'm just saying that I understand. I understand an attitude like Santina has.
Yeah, no, it's just that's a, first of all, great way to put it in terms of the mind of what Santina could be,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's just once again, it's just I get once again, for me, it's just that simple, just the lack of self awareness, right? It's just, I guess for me, I very much try to do my best to not affect those around me in a negative light, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not, I'm not saying I'm gonna, I'm not gonna make mistakes, but what I'm saying is that when you're in the house with people that you haven't really met, really, like like she's got to understand, like there's not really that you've met people. You're personal on a game level. You're not personal in real life, right? So you're still a stranger to them in a sense, right? Because you're living with them, right? So you have to understand, like you can't. Yeah, it's just I don't. There's no reason to go on with it, but it's frustrating because it was just didn't need to happen that way.
Fair enough.
If
Fair enough.
if at all, like she doesn't have to make. Because I'm sure if she took her aside and told that to Anika, she was like probably like you probably have a better reaction, but still
Or
not take it well.
or just go, oh, the same bread that you had that wasn't fully toasted is like, hey, can you do me a favor? I like mine extra crispy. Can you put it back in the oven?
Or why
No
don't you
problems.
or walk around the counter and do it yourself?
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like just like I would be hesitant to do that though, from what you said, because I've seen situations happen before where it's like, oh, you don't like how I did it? You gotta take over. Like people I would ask and then do. Go, oh, I like mine a little more crispier, so I'm gonna put it back into the oven. Can I get a
Yeah,
pan?
great way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. See, this isn't just a recap episode, folks. This is also a human etiquette and communication seminar as well. Okay, there are pamphlets at the door once you leave. So, moving on.
We can go
um,
back. We can go back now because you have to skip ahead, right?
well, well, this is the toast one. The toast one came first, and then came the waffles. See, I even corrected myself. Waffles,
Oh,
waffles.
this is the toast one. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So, I skipped the whole.
Oh God.
I skipped the whole Thai HOH thing. It was boring. It was dumb. The outfit that he got from Winners looked like any generic outfit that you can get anywhere. Sorry, Winners. It was.
Do they have to like? Oh my! I keep
It's their
asking this question.
sponsorship.
I understand, but like, does Ty is Ty obligated to act that way? He probably does in real life, but it's like,
He
are they?
probably does in real life.
Do they all have to act that? Like Dan did it too. Obviously, Santina did it.
It's all part of the show. You know what? would you? I would love for you to watch an earlier season just to see the differences with the lack of sponsorship and how the show seems so different. Because it's like,
Little bit.
oh, I got something for winners. It's so I don't know if I could fake it. I don't know if I fake. They're like, you don't get your stipend if you don't fake it. I'm like, I got something for winners, yay! And it's like, and you have to. It feels like they have like talking notes, like you got to push the cinnamon the cinnamon strips from Wendy's and the breakfast baconator every single time. You always hear that like those comments come in. It's like it's so boring. Anyways, Claudia and Ty have a conversation and they're talking about potential people to go up. Ty mentioned specifically Renee and Santina as his main two targets, right? Claudia is kind of trying to direct Ty to open up his sights to other individuals, but he kind of blows her off this first time. Um, it's just
Yeah, Ty feels in power. He feels the power. He's in the driver's seat. He can he right in this moment he's like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. He's
yeah.
just confident. He's
So so the funny thing about this is last week, um, obviously Kuzi and Daniel went out of the way to save Ty as a possible asset down the road. Now, what has happened, and this is on the daily, the digital dailies. It's not a spoiler or anything like that. Kuzi has been having second thoughts regarding the situation, mainly because of Ty's attitude once he was off the block and how he went back to his old pre-Zach days, right? We kind of saw it with how he was handling Santina, right? And right, it's also this week where he's just very vocal and aggressive and um, so
he's being very direct too. I'm noticing, right? Like being very like on, like very like. We'll get to it, but
yeah.
he was just cutting into Santina.
I kind of skipped over that, but anyways, that was the look how much is on people's plates though. I'm looking to see on Hope. Is that like one person has tomatoes or is that bacon? There's tomatoes. Let's see, is that tomatoes right here?
I don't know.
And that looks like bacon. But okay, so um, um, Ty takes um, Claudia to Wendy's. I'm so
Shocker.
shocker. I am so sorry that I totally forgot who was it. Was it Erica? Who was the person that he saw from Big Brother earlier season? Big Brother. I apologize, folks. I can't remember the person's name, and I zoomed past that. Right. Once we hit the high highs of Kiefer, everyone else. Uh, I just want to point out also, you have the extra large strawberry lemonade that Ty has. Always a good choice, folks. It's like the best thing on Wendy's menu.
Which
Right?
thing?
The strawberry lemonade.
Oh yeah, you keep saying that. So, oh yeah, we're gonna do the Wendy's weekly update.
So wait, when are we doing? Are we doing it next week, or do you want to do it this week?
Well, every week we should. It's just I want you
Every
to.
week.
I thought you were gonna ask me every week to find out where I'm at in my quest to
Oh,
get Wendy's breakfast.
so okay, have you had Wendy's breakfast?
No,
Okay.
I sadly no, but I did go to a Wendy's for dinner recently,
Oh, what'd you
so
have?
I had a son of baconator, you know, with a fry.
Okay.
But
What drink?
what I no drink. I have I drink. I got my own drinks at home.
Okay.
Try to save. So always save money when you can. So no need to get pop. Anyways, so I found out two things. One, first of all, I got the place near the closest Wendy's near me was under renovation to update to the new standard because it was a really old one with like the dome kind of seating area, right, or like the curved glass seating area.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, so they fixed it up and it's finally open. I didn't realize I don't go by that way often, but anyways, so that's a plus. And then the second one is that I got coupons so in the mail. So for Wendy's breakfast, so I'm fired up to get some French toast sticks. So I'm one step closer.
So, okay, I will make it a point to have Wendy's. I'll try to hit it for breakfast. I don't know when their breakfast closes, but
It's 10:30.
it's
It's not. It's not 11. 11 is McDonald's and Wendy's is 10:30.
jeez. Okay, that's kind of tough for me because that means I had to. I start work midday,
I know, me
so
too. Like I don't go that way. Like it's not. It's a little bit out of the way, but it's yeah. It's I gotta get up earlier.
I'll make it work somehow. Um, so I haven't really expressed my thought. I've expressed some thoughts about Wendy's strawberry lemonade. Once again, I point out best thing on the menu. I'm not a fan of their burgers, their patty. There's
Really.
something about their patties that
Well,
just
it's not super great. Like, they're kind of thin. I will say
yeah,
that. Go
and
ahead.
and the excessive amount of cheese, not a fan of as well, right? Um, I am a fan of their nuggets. Value meal nuggets, it's it's good. Their fries are okay. I like the sea salt. I will give kudos to that as well. Sea salt is great. Um, their sizing of drinks is questionable. And I say that from a Canadian standpoint because if everyone's watching on YouTube, sorry folks who are listening in the audio version, but thank you for listening. I appreciate it. It's the sizing of the drinks can only be described as American sized, right? Where it just seems excessively larger than their competitors' drink choices.
Yeah, that's a
And
large. It looks like.
and yes, folks, you might say, but more is better. Yeah, but at the same time, it seems a tad excessive, right? It just seems a tad excessive, in my opinion, right? And that's why I usually, if I do get a combo, I always size down the drink, because that's it. Just seems overtly aggressively too much.
Oh,
But
I want
that's
Wendy's breakfast now.
sorry.
I want Wendy's breakfast now.
Well, I'll try to see if I can do tomorrow.
No,
As a tip.
I'm gonna figure. I gotta figure it out. It's just I'm not motivated enough because that's just I don't go out very often, right? So it's just not it's not something that I do regularly at all. So it's on my list, but it's like there's nothing else on the list, right? Like it's just I never, it's not really one of those things I do. Anyways,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, the reason why we're focusing so much on the Wendy's breakfast rather than the actual strategy of the scene is because Claudia's doing work. Ty is ignoring it completely when Claudia's trying to point out that it seems he has blind spots where he's overtly um, directing a lot of his focus to people who are seemingly not threats, really. Specifically Renee, whereas other people like Kuzi, who seems well situated in the house, seems to get a complete pass. Ty says that he's good with Claudia, with Kuzi and Daniel, and Renee is someone who's on his radar is going to take out. Same thing with Santina. Claudia kind of right, and we see this later on again where she tries again. Um, we have our Bell Direct safety, the last Bell Direct safety for the season. So we've had
it's so serious. I don't understand like the tone. It's just like no one's getting evicted. Someone's being saved. Why would they put such a dark like? Oh my god, cast over it?
overly dramatic.
It's ridiculous. It's just like who are you trying to like make it dramatic for?
If it wasn't the theme of the season, I would be fine with it. Like if it was like in a book, right? It would be different, right? Um, like if they had three Beldirect safeties, and the first one was um, like a funeral, and there's like a casket in the middle, and they had to read out, right? And then the person has to open it up, and it's like safety for blah blah blah. Like it was like, oh, it's funny, right? I can. It's in the theme of the murder mystery house, right? A funeral or something like that. And the second
Yeah,
time
but
is
I
like
guess that's
a
where the tone.
dinner.
I guess that's where the tone comes from.
This general tone where it's like it's dark lights and it's red. It's like no, it's lame. Anyways, Claudia and Jonathan were both safe previously, so they cannot be safe again. So it leaves the remaining house guests, and the winner is Santina,
Oh
to
my god!
which Ty just starts clapping because, of course, it's Santina.
After he ripped her a new one.
Yes, after he ripped her a new one. So she was like, yeah, I'm safe.
Yeah, did we
Now,
not? Did you want to talk? Do we want to talk more about that ripping into Santina? Because that was just a healthy dose of like, like this is the situation. Deal with it. Because like Ty was not totally wrong. Like he wasn't wrong. He wasn't really wrong, right? Like there was like I can't remember word for word, right? But when I like it wasn't. It was very direct and it was very blunt, and Santina took it well, in my opinion. She could have like really like gone off on him. But like he was, yeah. Ty was really.
yeah. I,
I don't know what else to say.
I think that if the Bell Direct happened before Ty and Santina had a conversation, I think Santina would not have held her tongue. If she knew she was safe, she would have. She would have.
Oh, of course, but Ty
Yeah,
wouldn't have had that conversation with her if it was before.
true, true.
Because if this
So
was only the third time that they've had it this season, they obviously haven't had it every week, right? So it's every other week or whatever, right?
yeah.
So basically, like Ty either should have kept that in mind before he talked to Santina, or he should have waited until closer to the POV.
So
But
as I
even
mentioned before,
but she came to see him, I guess, right? So he
yeah,
saw the
because
opportunity.
you have to check it with the HOH. So Dave, I'm gonna read Dave's message because he was so angry. Dave was furious. So let me read it out. How in the mother of fuck did Canada vote to give Santina um, get the Bel Air protection? People like her? Um, so, and people might like, that doesn't seem so angry. For Dave, it is, okay? For Dave, it is. Um, so I think that people saw the writing on the wall, and
When's the voting start?
um, I think it starts on Thursday, like right after eviction. They have like the vote online.
So yeah, obviously they wouldn't have seen tonight's episode, but obviously then there's the blow up with her and Ty, right?
Yeah,
So
they knew that the next three targets are Ty, Santina, and Renee. So they took Santina, and especially knowing how Ty would react, because and I agree with Dave. This is not a pro Santina move. This is an anti Ty move. This totally messes him up, right? And kind of forces him to play a different way to
Plan
change his
B,
targets.
Plan B, as he said.
Sorry?
It said for Plan B, as he called it.
Yeah, plan B. Right? That's how it goes. So I was cackling with laughter when she got it. I couldn't help myself. All right. So Renee and Ty have a conversation. Ty informs her that Plan B is being activated and she's going on the block next to Hope. Um, Renee tries her best to talk to Ty. Ty kind of just like, sorry, this is how it is. So she comes down and talks to the lollipops. Uh, the girly pops, sorry. The girly pops, for our folks who don't know, are Claudia, Shanae, uh, and Renee. Or CC and Nene, as they mentioned before. I was gonna get a screenshot of that. I'm like, screw that. I'm not perpetrating. Like, I'm not promoting that uh, like abomination of nicknames. CC and Nene. No. And she kind of expresses her frustration to the two girls about the situation. Claudia then goes upstairs and tries talking to Ty, right? To kind of set the stage for everyone to have a conversation with Ty. Um, in that conversation, Renee really breaks down the dynamics of the house from her perspective in terms of, Kuzi is safe, she's well situated, no one is looking at her, and like people need to. That whole side of the house with uh, Daniel, Anika, and Kuzi are safe, and they're going to be the people who are going to be able to do the most damage in terms of voting. They are the vote, right? The voting hand. So, uh, basically, Renee saying, "You sign my death warrant if you put me on the block," which she's not wrong at all, right? Ty expresses his situation that he tried working with her, and she was very cold to him and not willing to commit, which is true. And he's felt that he's doing her courtesy by letting her know, and he can't be swayed. He has no reason to do what he's did. Hope is a target, which she isn't, and that Renee asks a really good question. It's like, if Hope takes um if Hope takes himself off the block, who are you gonna put up? And he's like, I don't know. Which to me says, wow, it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. So Renee is right in thinking that she's in peril because she is.
Oh yeah, she's got to win this week, or she's done.
If you're Claudia, would you take Renee off? If you won,
Um, Shania would.
Shania would. Yes.
Claudia. I don't know. Like it.
It's a very good question, right?
Because I don't know how she would kind of take ties tie into consideration.
I don't know either. Um, Claudia has been talking more vocal in terms of playing an independent game and talking to the other sides of the house, but at the same time, like, she's being presented as extremely loyal to Ty, regardless. So, uh, on a side note, just a brief intermission from this conversation. I hope that you noticed so far in this episode, no one has taken their shirt off.
That hasn't been the case for a while, and I'm happy that people have started to learn that there's no one watching. Like, relax.
um, so that means the live episodes, they should just like rip it, like Magic Mike it.
Yeah, it's not working.
Body rolls. Um, what did you think about Renee's pitch?
I think it was. Like it made sense, but at the same time, I felt that it was like it's falling on deaf ears, right? Like you're not like, unfortunately, Ty is not the person that can help you, right? If like the only real way you could really like make this change is to talk to Kuzi and then be like, what about this girls' alliance? Let's really lock this in, right? Like Ty's not the one to help her.
Yeah, I agree.
He's made it clear that he doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
Yeah, I agree. So, um, very shortly, um, we have our two noms, and it is Hope, who Hope,
Just so excited. Oh my god.
you gotta stop with this like captain my captain salute every single time you're put on the block. It's annoying and lame. Secondly, when did Renee become um a mother whose son went off to war and she's waiting by the window for him to return? Because like she is, unless it's cold in the house or something, she is like significantly just seems tired in general. I'm not saying
Yes.
she looks haggard or ugly or anything like that, but for a person who has typically dressed with, I would say, zeal would be a good a word to it. She is dressed extremely conservative, and it's giving a uh like even her makeup giving a sense of like
I
she's
don't care.
tired.
Giving up.
I didn't say not care. She just seems like she's kind of seems done with it. I guess the
Yeah.
spectacle of Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like these nominations?
Not great.
Who were you hoping for him to nominate?
Well, Santino, obviously, just toxic. I just want her out of the house. But like the problem is now this is now the first um week that we can really say that there's a 5-person probably going to go to a final 6, right? And it's just a matter of waiting, right? Like it's just to kind of see, right? Like Renee's most likely going to be going home here, right? Like I don't know how else it's going to go.
Honestly, I would be super excited if Hope went home. I would,
Well, I don't.
because
I wouldn't care either way.
oh no, I think that if Renee leaves, if Renee stays, and she knows she was the target, right? And let's say she wins HOH in a mental comp. Oh, I would live for that
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely. You always love getting off the block and going for the HOH. So Ty just did it, right? It's awesome.
yeah, because does she go after Santina? Does she go after Ty? Right? Does she work with Santina? Because both of them technically, you know, have the
On the
same
yeah.
target. It's just I want the it's been a pretty dynamic season so far, minus the people who have left on their own accord, minus Zach. And I want to keep it going. I want the spice. Let the spice flow, you Dune folks. Let the spice flow. Um, I don't have any spoilers. If even if I did, I wasn't going to mention any. This is where we're at, and I'm actually interested to see how this week plays out because I'm actually um, I like both of them, but I would prefer Hope to be gone because I think Hope, outside of performing well in challenges, he is wallpaper. He's absolutely wallpaper. He's just there. He's just there. It's like he's just there in the background. Yes, he's jumping up and down, but it's like, okay, move out of the way. Let me see the real players who are trying, right, to work. So I'm interested to see. What are your hopes for later this week?
Um, I I predict I my hopes are that Hope gets himself off the block.
Okay.
So that he can, because it's more likely he's going to win than Renee, I think, or that's the mental comp. And Ty is going, and then see Ty struggle a little bit to put somebody up, or hopefully. And that's the much drama we can get from the block this week, right? Like, I don't really know what else to say, right? Like, it's the way that like I said, like, it's just, this is the turning point, right? Like, of the last week or so, right? It's just like you see where the show now is clearly going in the next few weeks if certain people win, and it's like that for now, right? So it's just a wait and see, right? But I'm more like I'm more interested right now. I'm going to become more focused on the comps, more focused on the rewards. See if they talk about the Wendy's points, but see if they introduce any more twists or anything like that, right? Because with Valor Direct gone and the like, if they won't, like, is there more rooms to open? Like, I don't understand. I thought there was more rooms to open. Like, what's going on?
I think there's one more twist. There's gonna be one more twist, and it has to deal with the book code and everything. And I
Oh,
think that
that's
will be the
Santina.
last.
That
I think
seems.
that'll be the last. I think that's the last. I think that's the last. The billiards room. Yes, I think that's gonna be the last twist of the game.
Yeah, that's interesting because I don't really know what to think of that just yet. It's kind of
Don't have the
creepy.
clue either. All right, but
Yeah.
in how many odd days you'd pretty much figure it out, whatever the issue is.
Well,
Um,
I would spend, if I would, like, once again, like, I don't know what Santina's, like, like solving skills are with something like this, right? But like, I would spend a little more time in there if I were her, knowing what she knew, right? Because I would be like, well, what about other books? Like, just piece by piece, put it along, right? And then as the audience, like, that'd be cool to see, right? To see how they, but obviously, unless the production doesn't want that,
true.
because if it doesn't want to be revealed yet.
Yeah, but we'll all see. Um, as will everyone listening. We'll be back to cover Big Brother on Thursday for our eviction and veto recap. No, Big Brother Canada episode recap from us until Thursday, because on Wednesday we have Survivor. So that is there. So don't you dare miss it. And that's what the Super Mater Brothers. That's what we do. We recap movies and reality television. Uh, part of the uh, part of the Super Mater Brothers is the MMS, the Mary Mater Marvel Mater Society. Sorry, the Marvel Mater Marvel something Society. So with Dav, something like that. I always get it wrong.
MMS, triple MS.
MMS. With Davin, Dave, and myself. The next thing we'll be recapping is Quantumania, which is the first week of May. So check that out. The trailer for the Marvels just released, so there might be a small pot on that. Information is pending. Okay, Foster, I'm gonna. Oh, Red Squad, Red Squad.
Red Squad, 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 Red Squad.
So Dave is joining us. Your audio, I think, is kind of messed up.
My audio?
There you go. You're working fine. The first time you didn't say anything, you said something, it didn't pick up. Dave just came in from Live Long and Podcast, and recapping Deep Space Nine episode Valiant.
Yes, from season 6.
Season 6, featuring one of my favorite episodes, as I mentioned before. And he's come in to do some cleanup on Big Brother Canada. We were just wrapping up, so it's perfect timing.
Okay, well, I don't, I didn't mean to throw you guys off. I just wanted to share a couple thoughts I had on this episode. One, which I already had put in our little chat there, Jaemeel, was like, how the hell did Canada vote for Santina to win this Bel Air protection? I was taking Ty's side. I was like, you're right, she should go on the block this week, just for last week, But and you were
I
like, well,
quoted you directly. I read out your message, word for word.
like I agree. Okay, and then there's Hope. Okay, like what is with Hope? Like what is with this guy? Like
He's a mastermind. He's a mastermind, if you ask him.
he's like, oh, I've got it all figured out. I'm going to get him to put me up, which is going to do like you like just the way he's giving in the diary room at the end of the episode is like, you thought this was your idea, Ty, but it was really mine because I'm playing all this different kinds of chess or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about, Hope? You know, like if you don't come off the block, you're a legitimate option to be voted out come Thursday. You know,
He's like, they're playing chess while I'm playing Chinese checkers, and you're like, Hope, that's not how that analogy works.
It is not. No, like I don't know what game he's playing. Like the fact that I don't even understand. Like, are Hope and Ty at odds with each other anymore? Is that over? Like,
So Hope does not like Ty, but Hope is thinking that, like, you know, he's like sucking up to Ty, and Ty is like reciprocating, and he's like, haha, I got Ty in my back pocket. It's like, no, not really.
well,
Not really.
Ty was not intending to put Hope up at all. You know, he told that to Claudia in the episode. You know, he's like, I wouldn't want to put a Hope up. I would rather put up like Santina and Renee. You know, and then like I think it's interesting that this girls' alliance seems like it's completely dead because like Claudia and
people
them,
moved on. Dave,
Yeah.
people moved on. Like the girls' alliance, once again, anytime there's alliance, right? You get to prove how strong the alliance is by voting together. They never got to vote together because Zach left.
right.
And the moment that even just before Zach left, a good portion of the girly pops were hanging out with Zach and Daniel S. and Ty.
Specifically, which girly pops was it? Shania and Claudia.
Shania, Claudia specifically.
Right.
So if you're Anika, you're like, why am I teaming up with these folks when they're with the other side of the house? I might as well make my side of the house stronger, which they did by picking up Hope and Jonathan
and making the crown. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So but like there, because basically like I think Claudia, I felt like she was pushing hard for Kuzi to be like one of the nominees.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Which is a smart, because Kuzi's playing a very good game.
I don't fault it, but like I just don't understand the narrative on the show sometimes, just because I feel like they're like, we got, especially when they try to push these girl alliances to us, you know, and they really try to sell them so hard in the diary room where all the girls are like, we're gonna show these boys, we're gonna do it, and it never happens. I'm always like, do it. Get all the men out, you know, like I want you to succeed, but don't sell me a false bill of goods all the time that you know, like.
So you would not get that narrative if it was Survivor, because they would have the ending already in mind. But they're like, hey, it could happen. So they push it, and then they're like, well, the girl screwed it up
never
again.
Happens. It never, every season they push it, every season it falls apart.
So, okay, Dave, I'm telling you, if I get on Big Brother, I'm gonna make an all-girls alliance, and it's gonna last.
It will not. Like it like statistically speaking.
How can it last with what? I don't know. How does that logic work? Jaemeel, come on.
If you can make it happen, I will apply. You go to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, if you make it, I'll give you $1,000, right? You know, like.
There you go. See,
I'm not rich people. Yeah. I'm not giving him 100,000. Jeez.
But okay. It doesn't make, like, if you're Anika, right? Why are you going with an all girls alliance, especially all those girls alliance? You're at the bottom of their choice. You think Claudia and Shania is gonna pick Dan S? Is gonna pick you over Dan S? No. Is gonna pick Ty over you? No. Is gonna pick even Daniel C? No. So, like, what does that doesn't make any sense, right? Why? That's Anika. And if you're Daniel, see, look, Foster, be proud. I said Dan S. Daniel. Okay. If you're Daniel, once again, you're the fourth in the girly pops, like in their pecking order from any of the girly pops perspective, Renee, Claudia, Shania will always be there first before you are. You're number 4, right? How is that good? In The Crown, at the very least, at the worst, Daniel C is third. At the worst, right? So it made no sense whatsoever, right? And you see how Renee was so uncommitted to anyone, right? You didn't lock it down. You didn't vote. There's no chance to cement an alliance. Foster, can you do me a favor? I want to see it. Put on the crown. Yay!
Yeah, like I'm not feeling.
I don't like the name, but I like the group. The group of people are good people, though. I do.
Yes. I'm
Would you-
rooting for that alliance to succeed, but I feel like it doesn't have enough brain power to really achieve anything.
I disagree.
I think Kuzi's smart. I think Anika is not
Has a good.
dumb.
She's a better sense of the game than she did first week.
Yeah, but like Jonathan and Hope, like these guys,
Jonathan is such a nice guy. That's the best.
they're nice guys. Like and whatever.
I don't know
but,
about Hope. Hope seems like a dullard, honestly.
And who
Like
Daniel C. I don't really like Daniel C. But you know,
Well, after that move last week.
yeah, especially that.
Yeah, and I think that's why Canada didn't vote for him. I think he's on the outs with Canada, and Kuzi didn't need it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other thing I wanted to just quickly ask you guys about was what do you guys think of like the whole garlic toast thing between Santina and Anika?
Once again, I'm not wasting energy anymore. Tell him, Jaemeel.
We had that was the bulk of this episode. I was talking. We had a whole seminar in interpersonal relationships and such.
I couldn't believe Santina was crying.
I explained. So okay.
No, Jaemeel, don't. Dave, listen to the episode. Watch the episode.
All right. I have to go back and find out, do my research.
Yes, do your research.
Because I make a very strong point about not wasting energy on things that don't need to waste energy on. We've already done that already tonight, so I'm just it bugs me already.
It's lengthy, and I think we look at both sides. I play a little devil's advocate, but we look at both sides, right? Dave, I want to ask you a question. Foster. It was just announced. Sorry, it is just rumored that next season 45 of Survivor, is going to have 90-minute episodes. Thoughts?
All of them will be 90 minutes? That's the rumor?
Said that's the rumor. All episodes 90 minutes.
I don't think that doesn't excite me that much, really. I think
I'm okay with it, and the reason I say that is because the challenge is 90 minutes, right? So I understand there's different content, but I know that it can be achieved, is what I'm trying to say, right? Like you can make an hour and a half watchable, or an hour, if you will, without commercials.
I think it could be good if we got more of the strategic gameplay. It depends what they want to do with that extra 30 minutes, you know?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they can't just fill it with talking the whole time. They have to add a daily reward challenge.
Foster would want more challenges. What I definitely don't want is a longer tribal council. Where who's gonna get voted out? I don't know. You know, so like that's the most annoying thing I find with Survivor, that they're still playing this game every episode. Like, we can't tell you who the vote's going to be. You got, we want it to be this reveal when the votes are read. So,
in my opinion, I would be perfectly fine with 90 minutes if they go back to 39 days. That's my.
Well, yeah, they would have more content too. Yeah, for sure. Like, it would make more sense.
I think that if there's one complaint about the seasons, is that it feels like irrational what people do in the game because it's so quick. And I don't like it. I don't.
Yeah, it's a faster Survivor, and it's but
if you told me that the reason why we shortened it was because you want to get more people, I can just deal, but at the same time, give me 39 days. I want my 39 days. Right? I want
Yeah,
my
or something in
Ponderosa.
between. How about 33 days?
Sure, but I want my
Maybe
Ponderosa
one
too.
more week. Maybe if you added one more week or something, because it's 28 days right now. So
Yeah.
if they
I
added,
just want give me my Ponderosa too. Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, they stopped doing that, right?
Yeah, they stopped doing Ponderosa.
Yeah.
So okay, time to kiss babies.
Okay.
Time to kiss babies.
Kiss
Okay.
them all.
Yep. Kiss them all. I'm starting off with where is it? Where is it? Oh, with the newest sorry. Dave, thank you for joining us from Live Long and Podcast, a sister channel, right? To the Supermator Brothers. Already mentioned what we're gonna do this week already, just before Dave came in. Live Long and Podcast.
Yeah,
sister channel.
we do sloppy work.
You did some sloppy work, some damn sloppy work.
We're in a federation of podcasts.
That's right.
Right? A variety of content, cornucopia of content for you to enjoy, to savor.
There's something for everybody.
There's something for even including our newest entry, Aiming on Track.
That's right.
Right? Where Dave, Uncle Dave's son, I don't know why you're Uncle Dave all of a sudden.
Oh my god! Yeah, I think I
reviews an entire album worth of music, and kind of breaks it down. Most recently, you did Hamilton.
We did our first episode. We did the Hamilton musical double album. It was 46 tracks. We ran through. It took us 2 hours, but it was a very enjoyable experience. Just talking to Eamon about that album, and it was also like a little bit of a history discussion because that's based on historical events and as well. So it was a good one. I think Davan's going to be on the next one, but I'm not sure what album they're doing yet. So
I think everyone should check it out. Don't miss your shot to enjoy.
Don't you be throwing away your shot.
Don't throw away your shot. Speaking of Davan every Friday or so, he does the KBBBL podcast, with Simpsons Recap Podcast.
Yes.
Just recently they did Treehouse of Terror.
Treehouse of Horror 1. That was 2 weeks ago. They did one in between, but I'll be on this Friday. We're talking about Dancing Homer.
Ooh, Dancing Homer. That's the baseball one.
Yes, it's one of the first baseball ones. It's kind of like the more famous baseball one that comes later. That's Homer at bat, but yeah.
This one I'm a big fan of. I love the Capital City song.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I have to be there just for the Capital City song.
Yeah, so. Tony Bennett, great song.
Yeah.
Davan, one of the hardest working podcasters in the network, is also doing Hold Up with the World Mind, Chris Murphy. This week, their episode is focusing on the internet, the net. With Sandra Bullock from 1995 is one of the movies, along with Hackers, also from 1995, and Guns Akimbo from 2020 with your boy Harry Potter, right, in the movie.
Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe's in Guns Akimbo.
Oh, okay, cool.
Davan also is in X-Men, the X-rated podcast, the X-Men animated review show. They were on tonight, so that episode should be up shortly, and then in your podcast catcher soon after. That is an X-Men animated review show. They are reviewing Fox's X-Men animated series, and soon doing X-Men 97 when it releases later on this year, although it might be rumored to be pushed back. People are angry about it. He does it with Andre Mayette, who has his own podcast, the Graphic Histories Podcast, which is a review podcast where he interviews artists, writers, actors. Just recently, he did Kurgan, the wrestler Kurgan, who is an actor, has been in a variety of movies and television shows. He was in was it Hellboy? Was he in or
From Hell, the one with Johnny Depp?
From Hell. It was close. It was so close. And they have the newest episode, I think, is out. I'm not quite sure on the individual, regardless of if I can't name them or
He was
not.
he was a Nova Scotia director.
Nova Scotian director, the newest one. You should check it out. It's always a great listen to, tickle your earworm. Now, From Hell is a great segue for the Hellbound podcast
Yes.
with Alex Blackbird and Michael Chan.
YTV's own.
YTV's own Michael Chan. Check out the Popularity Papers, airing on YTV at 6 o'clock. Support Michael
On Mondays, I think.
Chan on Mondays.
Yeah.
You know, put in your DVR, you know, set it to record so you don't miss it. Don't you dare miss it. Hellbound podcast, horror review show, audio only. Sometimes on the weekends they have little snippets on stuff. Check it out. Trivial Debates has the has the most recent episode has the World Mind Chris Murphy, which I was on, about wrestling with Jason R. And Andre Mayette competing for Wrestling Glory, the title of the best debate for pro wrestling. You should check it out. We don't have a theme for next.
I haven't even started putting that together yet, but
It's that fresh, folks. The episode is that fresh. Check out the last episode. Check out our past catalog. We'll have details on the next episode soon.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I started with it. Let's end with it. Live long and podcast, right? The mothership.
Red Squad.
Red Squad. Check it out. Star Trek review shows, Star Trek deep dives, Star Trek radio theaters, where we take Star Trek scripts and we turn them into radio plays. Last one we did, we took a Star Trek comic book for Lower Decks and we made it into a wonderful, wonderful audio presentation. The final version is going to be worked on, but right now you can hear the live, uncut, original version. So check that out. Definitely worth a listen to. And I think that's it.
All right.
I think that's it. So thank you all for joining us for this wonderful episode. Big Brother Canada 11, episode 15, nomination reviews. We might have an announcement of something coming up in a couple weeks concerning the Big Brother finale. We'll more details to come.
Watch out for that in May. Yeah, but
we'll check that out. Check that out. And
remember,
and that's it. Oh, everyone.
And remember, someone is always watching.
Are we?